Good morning. It's Wednesday. It is hot here in South Louisiana. It's been, close to 100 every day, and with humidity, it's just sweltering. So glad to have air conditioning. So if you would, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video, and you like it by hitting that thumbs up button. Appreciate y'all for watching. The number of people watching is going up little by little by little, and I appreciate that. Talk about the heat only because somebody was pointing out, when we were little, we didn't even have air conditioning and all that. I said, yeah, and that's true. I think there's a couple of things at play here. First of all, I don't think our bodies are conditioned the same way they were when we were young without air conditioning, because we're conditioned to have air conditioning. I think there's something with our conditioning in our body. And second, I don't think houses are built the same way. I remember growing up, the house we had a big box window fan, and we would open the doors and the wind would blow, and suck air through the different doors, and you regulated it. And I don't think the insulation in those houses was quite like it is now to keep the heat in, the heat out, and all that kind of things. I think things are just a little bit different. I can't even imagine sleeping these days in our house the way it's so insulated if we didn't have air conditioning. Our windows at our house don't even open. I know most of y'all don't know this, but we less than a year ago moved into a bigger house so that my in-laws could move in with us. And it's a beautiful house, but the windows don't open. And it's crazy. So we're gonna have to go to Relief Windows and get those changed at some point. But anyway, enough bantering. This is the continuing evolution of what used to be my newsletter that was emailed to thousands of people that I would have to type out and spend time proofreading and all that. And because of technology, we've decided to just convert it to digital and do it on YouTube. That newsletter was always about ethics, spirituality, and the news, and usually in reverse order. So what is the news today? Well, the disturbing news has to do with Afghanistan. And I don't purport to be a international expert, but what I do know is that after 9/11, by the way, I was in New York for 9/11. It was a very traumatic thing. My wife and I were up there for, I was at a conference and I brought my wife so that we could see shows and stuff, and our trip was cut short because of 9/11. It's a long story. Someday I'll share with everybody. Maybe on 9/11 I'll share that story. But what I remember was that Afghanistan was basically blamed for it. And so we went into Afghanistan and tried to rustle up Osama bin Laden and all that kind of stuff. And that went on for years. And it wound up being an investment of lives, military lives for Afghanistan, and it's frustrating when you then just pull out. But that's not what my point is. I don't want to talk about the international scope of it because I don't understand, all the details. But what I do want to talk about is the domestic political perspective, and that is, why is anybody surprised? Before the election, the current person that sits supposedly in the White House said he was going to do just this. Everything that has happened, he said he was going to do during the election, and people cheered him for it and voted for him, and he's in office. Some people don't believe that, but that's another topic for another day. I don't want to get banned from YouTube. The fact of the matter is that it appears that people voted for him despite him saying he was going to do what he has done down in Texas, internationally, with oil. All of this was predictable if you voted for the current regime. And so I don't know what people can do about it at this point. I don't know, except the fact that you can get um, resolved, that when you have another chance to participate in the electoral process, you participate at a level that is more thoughtful, more thought out, and more careful. I think people, quite frankly, are ignorant of what it means when you say, I choose socialism over, you know, capitalism. People in the United States, quite frankly, if you believe that, you don't know what socialism is. Let me give you an example. Do you have a job? Do you get a paycheck? How would you like to not be able to have a job, but to be assigned a task by the government? You will be every day at a car repair shop and you will fix cars. Well, I don't want to fix cars. I want to be a lawyer. The government decides what you do. And then you don't get your paycheck. You get allotted a place to live. You get allotted amount of food. You don't get the money for it. So if you have a job and you get a paycheck, you are in a capitalist system. That's why it exists. It doesn't exist in a socialist, communist environment. So if you think you want socialism over capitalism and you have a job, you're just ignorant. I'm sorry. And we all have to understand that those people that are out there saying that, they just don't know what they don't know. And maybe it's incumbent upon us to tell them. Now, how did we get here? Might I suggest we got here because we stopped teaching civics and we stopped teaching history. These people that are toppling these statues and going crazy about all of our history and trying to wipe out all the history, they don't understand the history. They're saying that all the founding fathers were racist and all this kind of stuff. They don't understand that those people put a system in place that allowed for slavery, which was universal at that time, worldwide, everywhere, to, in the United States, be abolished. They understood that they had to put a system in. It's just like this. If you're thirsty and I open a fire hose at you, you're not gonna be able to drink. But if I give you a cup of water, you can drink. Well, those founding fathers knew they couldn't just open a fire hose and change all the ills of the world in one sweep. What they did was they laid the foundation so that it could be gradually changed and made right. And it has been. And if you are sitting here saying that people of color are not better off now than they were even 50 years ago, you're way mistaken. And you know, what is expected? Well, people want something for nothing. That's a function of the welfare state. When we started the Great Society and started giving people something for nothing, we set into place a system that evolved into the degeneration of families, the expectation of stuff, and it over time reduced the value of the work ethic. And you may not like that, but that's what happened. So I come back to the Afghanistan situation. It was expected. So was all this other stuff that's going on. And the people that put that in there are confused. And what we have to do is unconfuse them. Now, the good thing is a little of what's going on now is that people are becoming unconfused because it's getting so bad. When you look at the price of gasoline, I was talking to my father-in-law the other day. Before the November 2020 elections, I paid actually at Costco $1.39 for gasoline. At Costco this weekend, I paid $2.51, $2.51. Look at the percentage increase that is. That's because people are saying, well, we want the new Green Deal, we want socialism, and all this stuff. They don't understand the impact of what they're doing. They fuss about the prices. Oh, I need to make more money because things are more expensive. Well, things are more expensive for your boss too. You have to understand economics. You have to understand the dynamics of the system that we work in. And when you interject confusion, you get the results we're getting now. Now, where's the ethics about this? The ethics is that we should not be mean or hateful or anything to anybody, even if they voted for what we have now. We have to love them. We have to open our arms and say, look, let me meet you halfway. I'll listen to you, you listen to me. Maybe that's the way we can educate. In that way, we keep ourselves straight spiritually, because we don't want our spirit to be infected with anger and upset over what they did. I do believe that in politics there's a pendulum that swings. It usually swings a lot slower. I think in this case, because of the radical nature of what's going on in Washington, it swung very fast way over here. And I think because it swung so fast, it's going to have to be pulled back very rapidly. And I think within the next 12 months, we're going to see that. So I hope that all of y'all are well. I hope that some of this makes sense. If I would love a dialogue if anybody wants to have a conversation about this. But I hope that through all of this, you can maintain your personal spirituality, maintain an outward ethical demeanor with respect to everybody, and that together we can pull through what's going on right now. With that, I will sign off now, and I hope you have a wonderful day.